We're with Richard Drechsler of Trifecta Gold here in Vancouver at the Resource Investment Conference. Would love to go right into talking about yourself, your history for the company and before we start to talk about your flagship, Mount Hinton.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. I've been working with strategic metals in our cathode for, since I guess 2007, so a long history of working in the Yukon. Archer Cathro is a well-known exploration consulting firm. They've been working on targets all over the Yukon, and Strategic Metals is sort of their public company arm as a project generator. So basically a publicly listed prospector. And so they've got hundreds of projects. I've been able to work on lots of those over my career. And so Strategic's model is basically once a project gets to the point where we see that, hey, there's probably a resource here, we've done a lot of that early stage work, we find a partner and we vend those projects out into other vehicles. And over the years, we've been following the various developments by other companies in the Yukon, and really there's been some major discoveries made in the Tombstone Gold Belt in Yukon. And so I went to the strategic CEO, Doug Eaton, and said to him, we've got Trifecta here, which is one of our in-house companies, and there's been a major discovery made by Snowline, really opened up this belt. Let's find a way to put those projects that Strategic's been developing into one of our in-house companies, being Trifecta Gold, so that we could go after it ourselves. So kind of cherry picking my favorite targets out of that bigger portfolio, so we can
now, is that describing the restructuring that you went through last year?
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, we last summer we basically restructured the company in order to acquire this target. So it took us a while to get it through the exchange because it was a related party transaction, but we've set up a deal whereby Strategic will do well if the Trifecta shareholders do well. So we can earn in by share issuances and project expenditures.
Well, tell us more about Mount Hinton. Like we said, it's in the Yukon. Why are you paying attention to it now more than ever?
Yeah, so Mount Hinton's been known for quite some time. It's basically has the extension of the vein system that Hecla Mining is mining at Keno Hill. So that's one of the longest lived mines in Yukon. I mean, they've been mining high grade ores there for over 100 years. And so that it's a very silver rich vein system. And what we've noticed was that as you move south in that vein system, the mineralogy changes, so you get less silver and more gold, implying that you're getting closer to a heat source. And so historically, when Keno Hill was mining in there, say in the 80s, they found a lot of the veins on the Mount Hinton, but they didn't even sample them for gold. They would, assay for silver anywhere from, a couple hundred grams to maybe 500 grams. But there's, down in Keno Hill, it is a world-class silver system. There's lots of, multi-thousands of grams per ton from the silver assays. And so basically the veins that United Keno found on our ground, they weren't of interest to them. So obviously now with gold prices not at $30, but now closer to 3,000, it makes a huge difference. So we've gone back and sampled those veins and we found, a lot of these have north of 100 grams per ton gold in. We've got drill intersects where, meter and a half of 45 grams. There's some big broad quartz veins. We've got lots of 5 to 12 meter intersects through these veins that nice mineralization throughout, lots of visible gold in it. So it's quite an impressive vein system. It doesn't have the same silver, but gold's there.
And that's what you're chasing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, for 2025, I'm curious to know more about your drilling strategy.
Yeah, so we were initially focused on the vein system, but as the geologic model that we were using suggested that these veins were coming off of a larger intrusive center. So the major discoveries have been made in the belt by Sitka and Banyan and Snowline recently, where they've announced over 17 million ounces of new gold resources in the last few years, making this belt one of the hottest exploration belts in the world for gold. And so we said, well, if our vein system could be powered by one of these bulk tonnage type targets, we've got to go find it. The prize is too big. So part of what we did this summer was we flew a geophysical survey, and these intrusions have a very distinct signature. And what we found was that we actually have, the right magnetic amplitude anomaly was hiding in a valley bottom, right basically where the geochem suggested we would have a buried intrusion. We sent our VP out there to ground truth it late in the summer, and lo and behold, he found granitic rocks down in the valley bottom. So it was actually right along a new road that some placer miners have put in a couple years ago. So we've got a spot where we can basically drag a drill in on a road this summer and drill test this for the very first time. And so, having a road accessible project in Yukon is huge. I mean, there are barriers often to building new roads and new access, but we're in a part of the Yukon that, like I said, has seen this mining and exploration history for hundreds of years. We have active placer mines, being the surface mines, that are all over the project. So we have quite good infrastructure directly adjacent to Hecla's mine and mill complex. So should we find significant resources in our veins. There's a ready buyer right there. But as I said, the big prize for us this year is to test that reduced intrusion target down in the valley bottom. So that'll be exciting for us.
I mean, raising capital is difficult, has been difficult for a while, and especially for juniors in the space. My question is, what are you doing? Are there any efforts that are being put in on a continual basis to lower CapEx and to make your operations as efficient as possible?
Yeah, so I mean, we do, like I said, we work with Archer Capital. They can do a lot of the work for us in the summer for quite low cost. You know, they're efficient operators. They've got lots of equipment up there. In terms of access to capital markets, our team has discovered both of the highest grade, greater than 1 million ounce gold deposits in the history of Yukon, as well as the largest copper deposit. So we are quite well known by a lot of the institutional funds out there. So in terms of access to capital, I think, you know, we are able to tap into that. And
that's great.
You know, we're sort of at the early stage still with Trifecta. You know, we've got some initial drill holes, but we're pre-resource. So it's, you know, we're doing it you know, bit by bit. We want to get those initial drill holes in there to prove that you know, this is a gold bearing intrusion before we go out and do the, you know, the big financing to define a resource on it. So it's, you know, just moving it forward incrementally. But we've had a lot of companies in our group go from this stage to, you know, the hundreds of millions or billion-dollar market caps based on discoveries. And so, you know, we're looking to repeat that here with Trifecta.
Great. Well, Richard, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Our viewers can find Trifecta on CEO.CA. Just search the ticker symbol. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.